Students, and welcome back to the Lore of the Iron Kingdoms with me, Professor Caster. As mentioned in that ginormous two-player box set painting and stat card read and review video I did a few days ago, this is the shorter form of each of those sections. For everybody that did watch the hour, thank you, and for everybody that did not have that type of time, here you go. You can watch it in more bite-sized aspects. But again, if you could, before everything is set, please hit that like button, subscribe, and comment. Please do all those fun things, because that helps the great gods of the YouTube algorithm keep pushing this out to the rest of the folks that might be into the Warmachine and expand our community. Also, again, thank you so much, Steamforge, for sending us this two-player box set for review. And without further ado, let's get to it. And then we have Deuce, who is a super fun model. I love the dynamic stuff. I gave him a little step up on his base there, just so his gun's a little bit more higher up than it is. But having him shoot out like that actually makes him look really nice. But there he is with his black and gray coat, or his dry brush coat that we did, just so the underside is dark and the top side's lighten up and makes it a little bit easier to be able to see. Here we are with his little bit of black contrast paint that he has on him. I think it's just his shoulders, basically, so gives him a nice little variation to his color tones, which we always enjoy. And then once you add the blue on him, he really pops out. There you go. Whenever you have the blue up on him, you can see it is, especially on those huge panels, like it really adds some variation to the paint style. And then adding damage in it is just as much as like you want to put little silver chips or whatever on there. But yeah, he turned out super well. And of course, these guys don't have any leather on them, so we don't have to worry about the leather step, unless of course you modify up the model to make him look like he's like a pack mule or something like that, which I suppose you could if you really want to in the long term. But yeah, he's a fantastic model. Here he is with all of his silver and stuff, silver and copper paints. And on the areas that were white, all I did was just go over there with a little bit of washed out white paint, just so you can make it kind of pop up as a white. But I had to go over a few coats to, like his knee pads and his little eagle that he has, or the cygnar bird, or whatever that is. But yeah, and then his gun, we did the same way, adding the washed down white paint over the runes, followed by that bluish tone that we're using. And then on his little electrical nodes, we did the same thing with a little bit of white paint to make it up. And then we did this guy, this little still shot here at the end, just because it looks good. You know, it's a nice model, and you know, I like having all the variations. And this is in front of one of my Warjack workshops that we did. We did a couple different pictures here, just because the stills came out way more clear than the poor camera allowed. But let's read over his stat line just so you can see how much of a gun mage this guy is like. Alright, so Deuce. He has trample, headbutt, and slam. That's what it was. Sorry, sometimes I forget. He has dual attack, and he is a construct. He has a speed 6, mat 7, rat 7, defense 13, armor 18. His special abilities are accumulators, so gun mage. When this model begins its activation within 3 inches of one or more friendly gun mage models, it gains a +1 focus. Or it gains 1 focus, not +1, sorry. Gains 1 focus. So this guy starts, during his activation, if he's within gun mages, he starts with 2 focus instead of 1, making him very focus efficient. He has reposition 3, so at the end of his turn, if he did not run or fail a charge, he can move up to 3 inches, allowing him a lot more mobility, especially at a speed 6. Gets him up to a speed 9 or a speed 12 on a successful charge round. He has true sight, so he is another guy that ignores stealth, and he also ignores cloud effects. So yeah, that's super useful to all of my guys that have stealth. I think the only person that couldn't ignore stealth would have been Kane and Bastion, which is kind of funny to go up against. He has a Spellstorm Cannon, which is a rat 7, range 12, rate of fire 1, POW 14, so decently cannon. Not as powerful as the slug cannon, but definitely a lot more range. He has the ability to use that in melee, and it is a magical weapon. He also has attack types, because why wouldn't every gun mage in that army have attack types? His attack types include beatback, So immediately after a basic attack with this weapon is resolved during this model's combat activation, the enemy model hit can be pushed 1 inch directly away, and then this model can follow up 1 inch directly towards it. And then he has a blast weapon option. So this weapon becomes an AoE 2, POW 12/6 for this attack. And then he has decrepitations. This model gains an additional die on damage rolls against construct and undead models. I'm not sure how well these guys would go up against, say, hordes models, or the Warbeast style models, because a lot of these guys seem very set up to go up against Warjacks and stuff like that. So, but I don't know. We'll see in the future how those guys play out. But him being able to give himself 3 damage die plus the damage die if he boosts the damage is can knock out some heavy damage, especially since he's given free focus and stuff like that. So very scary. But he also has, because why wouldn't he? He has powerful attack. So when attacking with this weapon, this model can spend 1 focus to boost all the attack and damage rolls of the attack. So not only is he fuel efficient with his decrepitation, 1 focus boosts all the attack and damage rolls of all of his weapons. So he's all attacks with that weapon. So yeah, it's crazy. And then he has reload, so he can do it again. So with 3 focus, this guy's damage is the limit of whatever amount of stuff you want to throw into it. So yeah, definitely a ranged Warjack. But he does have a melee weapon of Crescent Blade. So it is a Mat 7, range 1, POW 15, and it gives him a +1 armor. It's also a open fist weapon, and it's magical as well. So he can do all of the fun stuff like throwing people. But yeah, and it gives him a +1 armor, getting him up to an armor of 19, which makes him a little bit better. He's also slightly cheaper than Razor, but he has a lot less. He has a lot less ranged weapons, because Razor has 3 ranged weapons and a melee weapon, get him up to 4. He only has 2 that he can reload once, so 3, that makes sense. But his range damage can just go through the roof in the amount of damage this guy can knock out, and he did. Although Razor was able to knock him down once with his slug cannon, which slowed up a little bit, not crazy amounts, because at a range 12, even if he knocks him down, it's whatever on that one, because then you can stand up and start shooting people again. So, but yeah, but Deuce super good at ranged attacks, and highly recommended.